Democrat of the Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Wolf.
All right, so you heard our new reporting. This was all happening as Jared Kushner was helping with the presidential transition, the president's son-in-law and senior advisor. What risks could that pose?
It's a simple conflict of interest. He is in a very, very important, powerful position, probably the closest person next to the president, receiving all kinds of classified information, and at the same time dealing on his own for his own business, not only during the transition, but apparently, according to your report, after the president was in place. That's a conflict of interest, plain and simple. Does it lead to something? We don't know, but clearly it's a conflict of interest, using your position to deal for yourself. And I must say the president seems to be doing the same by hanging out and inviting foreign dignitaries to his various golf courses. But beyond that, listening to what is going on from the Kremlin, I think I've heard that before. When the Russian government took over Crimea, they denied that they had anything to do with it. Hello? We knew they had something to do with it. And those little green men in Ukraine, guess what? They denied involvement there. Denial, 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 but the facts are clear. The facts are clear that the Russian operation, most certainly under the authority of the Kremlin, involved in our elections, sending spies into America, subversion and subverting American citizens. This is beyond the pale. It requires a very, very hit back from the U.S. government, and I'm afraid we're not going to get it.
Jared Kushner's lawyer says a new security clearance policy won't influence Kushner's ability to work in the White House with sensitive material, key national security related issues. In light of this new reporting, though, should Jared Kushner, Congressman, have access to classified information, including the presidential daily brief?
Absolutely, he should not be given that information. And let's go back to conflict of interest. He's double dealing. He is sitting there in the White House, putting forth policies, and at the very same time, he is involved in his own personal business. I think his wife had something to do with China during that period of time when he was reaching out to China for money. What was it? Had something to do with trademarks, like a lot of trademarks. So what's going on here? Are they interested in protecting America, or are they interested in protecting their own business interest? It seems to be at least the bottom. And if one were to look at what Russia did, not supposedly did, but did in this election, hacked the DNC, hacked John Podesta, then used that information in the campaign, and then this indictment even goes in an additional direction. And what is this administration doing? Well, they're cozying up to Putin at the very same time that they ought to be hitting back in every way.
You know, Congressman, should Jared Kushner recuse himself from any decisions related to national security, any policy with both China and Qatar?
I think it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. This White House, the Trump family writ large, is involved in multiple deals all around the world, in countries all around the world where their business is dependent upon the goodwill of that country. It is a conflict. It is a conflict that in some ways is directly opposite the emoluments clause of the Constitution, which in its very plain language says that the president and officials cannot take gifts from foreign governments. Those trademarks are an enormously important, valuable commodity to the Trump family. It is a conflict of the emoluments, the Constitution itself, and I think, we know, we saw him. We saw the president pledge that he would defend the Constitution. Well, my sense of it is that this family's business interests are in direct conflict with the Constitution, and there should be no continuation of the conflicts that exist. We cannot do too much immediately about Trump's conflicts, although every previous president put all of their financial interest in a blind trust or disposed of their assets. This president did exactly the opposite. He maintained his personal financial involvement through a trust in which he receives all of the benefits. Now, what's going on with Russia? There are two tracks here, Wolf, two very, very serious tracks. One track has to do with the Russian investigation, all that we're talking about with Kushner and family and so forth. That's important. But the other track is equally important, and that is we must defend our democracy. And that is not happening.
Congressman John Garamendi, thanks as usual for joining us.
Happy to be with you.
Just ahead, what prompted the special counsel, Robert Mueller, to dig deeper into Jared Kushner's business dealings? Talk more about our exclusive breaking story with a former FBI special agent.